So, you didn't expect this one, huh? Welcome to the $10 million studio. Nah, I'm just kidding.
10 million? God damn it. Woo! I almost crashed it.
It's, it's a camera there, and it's a camera here. And we say hello to everybody. And fuck it. Let's just get into things because we have a couple of things to talk about since we have updates on the PTR. And I guess we get started off with the key changes. The keystone changes.
We have a new NPC now. I forgot his name. It's one of those broker names, man. Like 2 Shop 2.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a witty name that means something. But at the end of the day, we're getting keystone resets back. Kinda. The way it works is once you're finishing a key, at the end of the key, he will pop in the key and he will change one time, and we don't know yet what this one time means. He will change that key or any other key that's at least that level or lower to I would imagine a random other key that's not the key that you've just changed it from. We don't have a lot of specifics about this. Is it one time per week, one time per month, one time per day?
I hope they don't do that shit, man. Because I remember I at some point in a week I got like 4 sanguine dips or something.
Everybody's complaining about that shit.
Yeah, and it's stupid. If they put restrictions on that, it's stupid. And to the point of the news that you can now change your keystones at the end of the dungeon or whatever. Like, it has to be a system where you cannot roll for the same key. I mean, that would be just stupid. That has to be excluded.
I think from the data mined information, or at least from the guys that made the Wallhead article as well, it seemed to imply that the key that you would be changing to would not be the key that you just had. Because that would be silly.
That would be stupid.
You can only change the key. So let's say you've done a 15. You can only change a 15 key, and from what I understand, it's anybody in that party that has their own separate key can do that.
Yeah.
There has to be either 15 or lower. It cannot be higher.
I mean, I think it's a very, very good thing they added that again, because we all know how many keys we have on all our characters. And, I think we can speak for the majority of people who actually play a lot of vaults, because.
That's you.
Like if you have, I don't know, playing 4 or 5 alts, and if you wound up having the same key, that kind of sucks. It's not just about that, but for instance, right now I'm like 3 keys away from getting my Keystone Masters, and I need very specific keys, and nobody has those keys. Yeah. And it's just a little bit annoying, and I have to pog, even though we're like 4 people, I have to pog that exact key for that exact player that has it. So it's a little bit rough. People have been asking for key deletion, which would imply getting a random other key. So this is basically a response to that, I would imagine, where you can change it. I really hope it's once per day thing, because Mythic Plus, I think the Mythic Plus content overall is currently suffering. People are not that invested in it anymore, and obviously it's a big selling point for the game. And being able to, let's say you do a dungeon with your friends, right? You're like 5 people, or maybe not even with the pod, doesn't matter, right? You're doing somebody's key, but you also have your key that you don't want to do because maybe that's why you're doing everybody else's key. Then you can just change it and then run it, and then maybe change it again after that if you don't like it, right? I don't know what the one time is, maybe once per day. I think once per day is fine. Yeah. I think once per week might be too little, might not make that much of a difference. Just spam changing keys and stuff.
Yeah, because if it's once per week, you might as well just do your key and turn it into a random one anyway, right? So it doesn't really I don't feel like it brings what players actually want. We'll have to see. Obviously, we'll let you guys know once there's more info about it in terms of the keystone. And also...
What also?
Jesus Christ.
So much for being natural.
Also, we have the new keystone, that if you skip a week, but you've opened your vault, you don't get a new key anymore.
Yeah.
Now you can actually, as long as you've done a mythic dungeon in Shadowlands, I don't think it's supposed to be a key. I think it can be just a mythic 0 as well.
Yeah.
You can go to the same NPC, which is an Orbos. I think he's going to be in where the vault is. He can just give you a key, a random key. Like, I don't know about the level, probably something to match maybe your last completed key, or like an average of your like best key level that you've completed. So that's actually good, because we know that if you play more than one alt, you sometimes don't do any keys on that week, right? And if you haven't opened your vault to get that, and if you have already opened your vault to get that reward, then you wouldn't have a key for the next week.
Yeah, it's definitely positive. But,
quality of life.
I don't know. It just feels like these changes would have been amazing to start off Shadowlands with, but now we're not getting into that territory.
I think they're definitely taking another look at the Mythic Plus and seeing like, man, people don't enjoy dungeons as well. So I'm hoping that this can be the start of some changes, because although Mythic Plus is a cool concept, it does bring the replayability element to WoW. I think it needs to be changed a little bit, and not just affixes, right? People need to do. People need some. I don't know. I guess something new, because
and give it a little bit more flexibility, man. Because it always felt, at least in Shadowlands, it felt so rigid, especially now when there's not much stuff to do, and a lot of people are chasing their KSMs. Maybe not. They were not interested at the beginning, but now they're chasing it. Then they're in a similar position as you. It's like, okay, I need 3 different keys. Nobody has them all, like, ever. So the less rigidity always has proven that made WoW a better game. They start off really rigid, and then they slowly unlock things. They see, oh, what do you know? Oh, people enjoy that shit.
You would think people would have pointed this out by now. Because see, on a basic level, Mythic keystones are already rigid as a concept, because you're timed. You need to be efficient.
Yeah,
you need,
that's okay.
You need a structure to be able to do it successfully. So adding more rigidity to that, I think, kind of takes away from what the concept is supposed to do. It's just replayability. Ideally, like, I can envision a world where we would have random affixes every time we go into a dungeon.
Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Fuck that shit. Speaking of that, they haven't announced anything on the affixes.
No, they have not, no.
That will be coming in 9.1, but that remains to be seen. You be sure to stick to Marcelian&Online. We're going to chat it out on all the facets of that once that shit gets announced.
You know, but we do have something new that I really wanted to talk about, because I've heard about it initially, and I think this is another step in a good direction. That's the Sharods of Domination, man. That's the sockety thing.
Yeah, the sockets, brand new sockets, new gems and shit.
It's different than the normal sockets from what I know. So, okay. So, when you loot raid gear...
Yeah, it's only from the raid.
Yeah, it only drops in raid. So, you loot raid gear and you have like specific sockets for shards. Currently, they're ranked as Blood, Frost, and Unholy shards, and each of them have an offensive, a defensive, and a utility type.
Are they really Blood, Frost, and Unholy?
Yeah, that was
like the DK?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck, man?
That was
Why
cool.
are they called Holy Retribution and Protection, man? That's what I want to know. I mean, you can translate that.
Dude, you're in the Maw, you're in the Shadowlands, you're dead. Come on. Maybe if we go to...
I know.
Where would you go for paladin?
The perfect variation for those would be Outlaw Subtlety Assassination. There it is, motherfucker.
Why? That would probably have nothing to do with the fact that you're gonna main roll in
no, it may or not, maybe. Or
right.
Paladin, who knows?
All right, Shards of Domination. Right.
Yes.
This is actually a part of what people have been asking for since, I don't know if since Legion, but definitely since BFA. So the raid gear will drop with specific sockets that can be socketed with these shards.
Yeah.
They give you bonuses. They give you damage increase, heals, and all of that good jazz. There's a bunch of bonuses. Likely the bonuses might not be the same, because they kind of toy around with these type of effects to see exactly what would be balanced, I guess.
And they're not on the PTR. I mean, nobody tested them yet, so we'll
we cannot actively loot a lot of shit from the raid yet. So
there's fucking raid testing. We know we did.
Yeah, we didn't have. we didn't kill any of the bosses. So yeah, we
cannot test it too much, because you know.
But that's fine, because we, for better or worse, got only the mythic bosses. But
yes.
So Shards of Domination. So you can socket your gear with it. They give you bonuses. There's also set bonuses, I think, and this is a little bit fuzzy because I don't think it was clear enough.
What you say?
So you can match those
set bonuses.
Exactly. You can match the shards, man, into a set bonus, but that bonus will only be good in raids. That's the catch, right?
Yeah.
So that raid gear is the best gear you want for raiding. And hopefully we can get this in Mythic Plus as well, and PvP as well. We kind of had a similar concept with I started to know it as resilience, and then it would change along the years.
Yeah, but that was a PvP only stat.
That's what I mean. But
this sounds overly complicated once again, because you add a new system. There's a new gems to be socketed raid only, and those gems have their bonuses within there.
Well, yeah.
Why do you fucking complicate everything all the goddamn time?
Fair enough, man. But you have to give them props for the fact that they're actually making raid gear matter in raids.
I know that's the thing, right? This is a solution it could have been really easy to implement it without all the bedazzled shit.
This could be something that could replace, hopefully, if they're gonna keep this idea. I don't know if it's gonna be shards or anything, but this could potentially, hopefully, replace the conduit system, where instead of
you think, oh man, you're wishful.
I'm wishful, man. But see,
wishful.
What I'm thinking of is because we have all of these power layers of power, whatever you want to call them. And it's, if you really think about it, it's kind of like
conduits on gear. That's it.
Conduits, yeah, but we don't. That's the thing, right? Why don't we just have raid conduits, Mythic Plus conduits, and PvP conduits? That would be an ideal scenario. Obviously, we're not gonna have conduits in 10.0.
Oh, so let me get this straight. So you want PvP conduits, raid conduits, and Mythic Plus conduits. What about conduit energy, man? How the fuck you gonna switch all that shit around?
Jesus Christ, right? They announced that as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's another topic we want to talk about, but
it's another one of those weird restrictions. All right, so right now I'm gonna be honest with you. With you, dear viewer, I'm gonna be very honest.
That implies he hasn't been so far, but you have to have faith in him.
Come on, you don't talk about that. You just talk about it. I play pretty much all of the classes in the game, so I don't really have time to exhaust all of the conduit energy.
No time, no goddamn time.
Because I just swap from class to class. They regenerate naturally, so that's fine. But that's mostly because we do what we do on YouTube. If I would have to constantly play a main and have to constantly swap, it would be very tedious. And for better or worse, I've played the very few specs that had very boring conduits that you just took those and you never changed for anything.
Most of them are boring and passive as fuck, and that's it.
The thing is, we're talking about something more here. Obviously, they're making, so now that, because we're gonna have to talk about what the fuck we're talking about. Renown, gaining renown will refresh conduit energy.
Yeah.
How?
Just get rid of the fucking thing, man. Why? Who cares about it? Listen. The only time I felt the conduit energy biting me in my ass was on my druid when I had to switch between Guardian, Feral, Resto, and Boomkin because I was trying to Boomkin at them. That was the only time, and that's a 4-spec class. Other than that, nobody gives a fuck except the super high end level, which I doubt even them because they play a main or maybe possibly an alt spec within that class. Nobody fucking cares about conduit energy. That's it.
Yeah,
why you have to put it to renown? Once you get renown, you reset apart.
And it's also a shit change, man, because you're not gonna get renown forever. They will stop getting renown, and you'll be back.
What then?
If people who have a problem with conduit energy now will eventually have that problem again once you reach the max renown, which is what, 80 now in 9.1?
Yeah, it's double. Yeah, so
Jesus Christ. It reminds me. It's such a ridiculous number because it reminds me of Artifact Knowledge in Legion, man.
We get in there, baby.
When we're just like so much, and then you bought the tomes.
Tome of Knowledge or
Jesus Christ, isn't this like they've done this before and we didn't like it, and there's like okay, sure, catch up. Artifact Knowledge tomes.
But listen. I mean, we can trash, like there's definitely a high tendency and trend to trash WoW nowadays. Belilar's doing it, Asmongold's doing it, and we do it. We always did it. We just didn't do the on cooldown series. If you watch our previous videos, you would have seen a lot of bashing on Blizzard and Ian and everything. We're just now, I think it's the focus now should be, at least for people who still want to play the game and still want the game to get better, just focus on whatever the fuck is happening on 9.1 and just debate and talk about it and feedback it. And
they did say that they want our opinion on almost anything, especially conduits and soulbinds.
The difference is, they take the opinion and they want the ass with it, man, because that's what the fuck happened, man. There's nothing happening. That being said, there's definitely positive things moving forward, a lot of good things moving forward. Not everything is bad, but we have to have a chat about all of this.
No, for sure. Because right now, like you said, if you really pay attention, WoW is kind of like
it's a bit dead right now.
Not dead. Well, obviously, a lot of people left.
It's a tad dead right now.
It's a tiny bit in Shadowlands, right?
It's no good.
It's trying to escape the mob.
No bueno.
We
trying to escape the mob.
Right, because it's a little bit dead.
Really good. Really, I like that. Note that shit down.
Obviously, the drop in player numbers is pretty apparent, judging by the queue times you have for a lot of the stuff.
Everything, yeah. We can see it on our YouTube
and
numbers.
Even
as well.
okay, let's say the player numbers wouldn't have dropped. We still have the game being played by the quote the old boys. The people who have been playing it for years. We don't really have a new influx of new players. So it's just for us, right? And all of this outrage, although sometimes it can be a little bit unconstructive, let's say, it does come from a place of like, we just want the game to be better, because at the end of the day, we're the ones playing it. Like, who are you marketing this game for? It we're not gonna have like a new influx of new fresh
being
blood.
negative about the game now is rightfully and righteously okay, because
deserved
it's
more.
Yeah, it's not a good time to like, okay, hey guys, you did a great job. Nah. You know, Shadowlands had a lot of promise, but let's not derail here. We're probably gonna have a video on the state of Shadowlands. Let's
based
keep
on our
with,
excitement and hype that we had going into Shadowlands.
There's also been a couple of new legendaries that I mind. More specifically, I would address the Fire Mage Night Fae one. Which basically
there's a couple that will good to make an argument that we want.
We'll touch on the priest and the mage for now, because you know let's not make the video like 30 minutes and stuff. So for fire mages, we finally have the shifting power legendary, and the intercom is just ringing right now. It's probably Chudine's phone, but that's okay. We keep it natural, baby.
Yeah.
So it basically it gets you an increase of critical strike and haste by 1%, up to a maximum of 10%.
And you can cast it while moving. Or you can get shifting power while moving. And I think that's very reasonable to do, because it's a shitty ability, and it kind of takes you out of your rotation.
But it's underwhelming.
I mean, that's kind of how Convoke was initially. Convoke, you couldn't move while casting initially, and then they changed it.
Well, yeah, but that was like something that happened within Convoke. You didn't have an extra legendary.
That's the thing, because this is with the way they're doing these Covenant legendaries, and obviously Fire Mage is an example. Discipline Priest is also an example. They seem to, excuse me, not actually understand how the specs are working, but they're the ones designing it, man.
Yeah, I mean, not only discipline, like the whole Ventir legendary mind games, right? For priest, right?
I forgot what it's called, but
mind games. It's basically we had a chat with this priest boys.
Yeah, because you might have watched. If you haven't, you can watch our Discipline Priest podcast on our channel. We recorded that a while back, and then the legendaries were announced, and I was like, okay, let's make a quick little intro, little tidbit, put it in. They talk about the new legendaries, and the mind games one at that point was supposed to give you 2 mind game charges, which was a little bit iffy. It could have been really good in certain situations. Discipline Priest uses mind games, I think, more than any other priest spec, I feel.
Yeah.
So it would have to replace one of the current Discipline legendaries. So let's just say it needed a little bit more testing to see if it's good. With this one though,
this one is like what they say, dead on arrival or something.
Yeah, it's
was that the expression?
We just the tooltip was red, and I was like, wait a minute, this is dog shit. It counter works against how Discipline Priest actually uses its ramp time into evangelism and all of that, into spreading atonement, and how you gain a lot of benefit from that by using the mind games ability, and it doesn't really feels like counterproductive to it. And that's a little bit weird, and that's kind of a little bit as well with Mage. I mean, I don't know. We'll definitely have discussions on our previews for these specs once we get into it. We just wanted to have a short debate on what's been popping up, and basically pointing out that these legendaries, I don't know if their purpose would be to replace the current quote unquote meta ones for the specs, or are they made with the idea in mind that, okay, at some point you'll be able to use 2 legendaries, probably further down the line in 9.1, I'm guessing, because looking at these Covenant legendaries, they're not doing anything to compete except 1 or 2 specs. Excepting mind games, if you really think about it, these legendaries just make the Covenant abilities more interesting, to be honest. If it wouldn't have to take a legendary spot. I don't. This is weird, because they're definitely anima powers from Torghast. Most of them anyway.
What a shock.
Yeah,
they did say that.
Which is fine, right? They did say that they want Torghast to be a testing grounds for a lot of the things that they might implement or could implement into the game. And this is not particularly bad. It does, like, the more you look at it, it does seem like it should be like your second legendary slot. Maybe they'll make it a restriction so you can only use 2 legendaries if one of them is the Covenant ability legendary, but I don't see them adding that if they didn't want to do it for 9.1, and they clearly said that they don't want to do it for 9.1, which means they did not intend this to be specifically your second legendary, but something to replace your main legendary, which means that the power scaling of it leaves to be desired. One more thing though, and this is a little bit weird. This could be really good if they can take this into a more risky direction. So right now you will have a new vault reward, a currency. I forgot what its name is. It's a currency that you essentially use to buy Stygia, Anima, or
right, because if you're not satisfied with the drops from the vault, you can.
So that's
pretty good.
The same way you have Stygia now, so you know when you open your vault, you can loot whatever items you have or choose Stygia. Now instead of that Stygia, you'll have this new currency which you will trade it from a vendor that you'll buy bags of either Anima, Soul Ash, or Stygia again.
Soul Ash, baby. That's what I'm
for. That's actually good. It's
really good. Good fucking job, Ian. And
you can get Soul Ash. Initially, I thought that Valor points could be something like this added in. This is why I'm thinking that maybe they can take it a little bit further and actually make it worth it, because we had, if anything, BFA had one thing going for it, and it was the scrap thing where you can just take gear and just scrap it into something that you can make something.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, really good point. That could have been something here, like you don't take the shoulder piece that you've been looting for 3 weeks straight, but you take whatever valor points and you can just invest those into a different or better item that can essentially give you the power that you need. Yeah. It's definitely not. We're not gonna have Valor anytime soon, but who knows? I mean, they did add Valor points in 9.05 and not in a big patch, so maybe
it's a lot of slowly incremental changes like this. But we have to give props where props is due. Yeah. This is a really good one because, to be fair, at this point, nobody likes running and farming Torghast. It's a chore. It's a pain. I hate it with a passion. And having the option to if you get bad drops, instead of just getting Stygia, you have the option to get Soul Ash, because I can bet your ass everybody's gonna go for Soul Ash.
Oh, that would be
to make the legendaries.
Yeah, Torghast kind of changed, but like I said, we're gonna probably tackle this topic in
separately in an individual video. But yeah,
the thing is, there's balance in little things at it.
Yeah,
constantly.
We'll now get it. We have spec specific videos prepped up for that, so that's reserved.
Check them out.
Yeah, make sure to check the channel. But hey, what's really important here is that you let us know if you like this new format. It's not on cooldown material, although we are thinking about maybe introducing comments within it and answering some comments within the show.
It's actually it's a free medium right now. It's kind of like a little bit sandboxy. We just wanted to have like a natural talk, a conversation about what happens. Because if you've watched our previous news show, it was pretty much structured and scripted.
Yeah, really rigid. And this would give us a little bit more freedom to actually touch on a lot of subjects, freely discuss them, make a quick edit on them, obviously maintaining the quality, and have it delivered to the community and have a chat about it and stuff. So let us know what you think. It's really important. And that being said, we're gonna look there. Patreons, thank you so much for supporting all the content. This is some new shit before, right alongside with the guides and the podcast and everything. So if you ever wanted to join the team, the Patreon team, check the link in the description. See you. Thank you
very much for supporting the channel, and obviously we're going to be supporting pretty much everything we do.
Yeah. And that being said, we'll see you very, very soon with the Friday video, which will be most fun melee DPS in Mythic Plus. Be sure to check that out. It's all fun. Bye-bye.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.